Well, hello! It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week. So, let's dive into it. So, from left to right, I'm trying something new because the tags are now placeholders in my nice new cabinet, and I'm using the extra pen tray from my nice new cabinet today for the video for something different. So, from left to right, I have a Pilot Custom Heritage 92, Aromatic, Platinum President, PenBBS 206, Aurora 88, Visconti Homo Sapiens, Geha 722, Kaweco 37/37G, and a Kaweco V14S. As always, I'll be filming the writing sample in my Bomo art journal. Alrighty, so I have my first pen up. This is a Pilot Custom Heritage. Let's pull this back oops, wrong way. Pull this back just a tiny bit. Pilot Custom Heritage 92. Very nice piston filler. Kind of makes me wonder why Pilot doesn't do more piston filling pens, because it's a very nice piston. I just like it. And this ink in it, I mean, it looks like paint, and probably some pen purists are out there cringing, but I like this ink a lot. So this is Pilot. Oops, table's rocking here. They say during this virus thing, you should have a dedicated work area. Well, this is mine, but you know, I do most of my work on the couch. Okay, Pilot Custom Heritage 92. Sorry, forgot the all-important model number. I knew there was something missing there. Noodlers. Matahari's Cordial. Interestingly, when you do paper chromatography with this ink, you actually get a very fluorescent green that comes out of it. All part of the chemistry of the ink. I want to do something one of these days about iron gall inks. I was at a natural food store back when I could still travel and saw not iron galls, they're not a thing. Some oak galls for sale, so I bought them kind of with that video in the back of my mind. My next pen I haven't had out for a while. It's a first impression I did, I don't know, a while back. This is an Aromatic. Very, not a real flashy pen, and Arrow isn't a brand you hear about a whole lot. But they existed, and this one has a gold nib on it, which I just noticed is kind of misaligned from the feed. Huh. Don't remember ever noticing that before. I don't have a nib size. There's nothing written on it other than a mysterious 4. But what I do know is that the ink in it is Kyonooto. I don't know why I got so obsessed with their inks, but I did. Moegi. No, I misspelled that. Let me try again. And all the Japanese people watching this are going, yeah, because we don't use that whole language. Sorry, I don't know how to write or read your language. Anyway, a very nice bright green. And, you know, with the 5 inches or so of snow we had this week, the sub-zero temperatures we had this week, I was just feeling like I needed a little green in my life. So this next one was supposed to come out green too, but now that I'm using it, I remember that isn't a particularly green ink. This is a pen I really, really enjoy. Platinum President. I've actually debated getting another one in a different nib size. So far I've talked myself out of it. A lot easier now that I'm trying not to do much buying. I was very tempted today by was it Lami's new mango ink. I thought, wow, that looks so wonderful. It's yellow and it looked like it would hold up well on paper. And let me just turn the microphone slightly. And but I had to remind myself, well, as somebody who knows me reminded me on Instagram, down boy. I totally wrote that without you even seeing it. I apologize. I get all excited about whatever it is I'm excited about. So this is a broad nib, but I had it ground to a cursive italic. I think a wonderful decision. I have kind of wondered how well I would like it if it weren't ground to a cursive italic, but the pen just feels good in my hand. Except I'm still not quite back to how this was before because I'm still at a weird angle. So this is a Sumi ink, Kyara green. I don't know, that doesn't look green to me. The other one I have, I think, is black. I can't remember what was supposed to make this ink so special, other than it's in a very special bottle. I mean, a very beautiful bottle. But whatever. It's an ink I own, and I own too much ink. Then, nice fun one. I have a platinum. Sorry, wow. PenBBS 206. This one was originally, I think it was a fine. I've replaced its nib, and oh, that's something. Remind me to do next. I'm going to come back and write with this stub nib a little bit. But I just want you to see the difference here. This is an Architect's nib. Oops, 206. This was also ground by a different retailer. The ink in this is Rohrer and Klingner. Blue Mare. Wow. I had a Italian person last week tell me, as an Italian, this is not an Italian word. And I don't know, not being Italian myself, I'm a clueless puppy. I thought this was supposed to be blue sea, or sea blue, but because they reversed the nouns and adjectives, but maybe not. So let me just wander over here. Last week I talked a little, was it last week? Yeah. I talked a little bit about what an Architect's nib was. And I see even Stephen Brown jumped in on the act. He had a video on an Architect's nib, a little bit classier nib than this. But short version, an Architect's nib is kind of long and narrow. Here's the slit. So what you get are the wider across strokes rather than the up and down strokes. So like if I write, see, this across thing is wider. And I add those lines because that's my kind of oblique test. Now if I had a stub nib, your stub nibs, and this is, or a cursive italic, they're wider. A cursive italic is kind of ground off, so it's a little more squared. It'll kind of dig into the paper if you get too far off. But what that's designed to do is give you thicker downstrokes and narrower horizontal strokes, which I think it did. So, why an Architect's nib? Beats me. Why is it called an Architect's nib? I don't know. I was going to look that up, and I don't know. I feel like maybe Stephen Brown did talk about it in his video, but then I Okay, I am going to sound like a horrible person. I may not always pay attention when I put a video on. Sometimes I'm doing something else, and that's just kind of like something I have on while I do my something else. So I may not have been paying the best attention to Mr. Brown. Alright, this next pen was going to go off for repairs, but with the events in Italy, because it has that crack, it's makes me mad. With the events in Italy, I thought, nope, I think I'm just going to keep it here till the world situation stabilizes just a bit. Well, since it's here, I figured, heck, might as well ink it up. Because I do like the modern Aurora 88. Maybe I like the vintage one a little more, but it is a good pen. And, oh, look, more green. This one has a fun flex nib. And the ink in it is Robert Oster. I cringed a little when I edited my video last week. I forget what Robert Oster ink I had in it. I don't remember. There isn't one. So I don't remember why I was saying Robert Oster, but anyway, I said it wrong last week. I died a little inside when I did that. You know, once this is recorded, it's kind of too late to go back unless I have to make serious changes. Like, somebody discovered my road trip to Sturgis and suggested a tripod, and like, yeah, because my road trip to Sturgis, one of the problems there was the camera I was actually using to record the writing sample quit. So I had to come back here and film the writing sample. Yay, computers! Okay. Moving on. This one, I was really struggling to fill this pen. I don't know if there's something wrong with the seal or if I haven't used it in a while or what was up. I had to do it 2 or 3 times before I finally saw the ink level go down in the bottle. But this is a Visconti pen I haven't used in a long time. But I was given these samples of ink, so I really wanted to try them out in wet pens, and this is a wet pen. So, this one has a medium nib on it, and the ink is Diamine November Rain. Which is supposed to be part of a series of very high sheening inks. And some of them, like Smoke on the Water, are just unbelievable. This one, I wouldn't rate quite as highly as Smoke on the Water, but I still think it does a pretty good job. And this paper's a little more absorbent. But I was writing somebody a letter last night with it, and yeah, it came out really nice on that paper. This is a pen I've had inked for 2 weeks, I guess. Not too long. Geha 722. Sorry, drew a blank there for a minute. And when I got a little other ink in it. This is an oblique broad. So when I was talking about doing this test, you know, obliques are cut kind of at an angle, so you can kind of see that the broadest line is angled there. What was I doing? Oh, name of the ink. Sorry, too many things going on in my head at once. De Atramentis Apple Blossom, which smells nothing like apple blossoms. I mean, it's a nice color, very delicate. You know, Matahari's Cordial, I think, is a little more interesting. But this has its own appeal. 2 more to go this week. I have the Kaweco 37/37G. I may have mentioned once or twice that Kaweco used to make some very nice pens. And I know they still have their fans. It's just a different company now, different kind of company. The ink I have in this one is Parker Blue Black. I've actually been enjoying writing with this pen just lately. It wouldn't surprise me if it's not here next week because, well, I've been enjoying writing with it. It just, I don't know, there's something about this combination of this ink and this pen that's just working for me. It shows off just a bit of shading. I mean, Quink, who gets excited about Quink? But it's nice ink. Parker may only make 3 colors right now. We'll talk about that here at the end of the video. But, I don't know, the black and this one I like. So far, I've actually been liking my bottle of the washable blue also, which kind of blows my mind. But, you know, I am aware of its limitations. This is a Kaweco V14S. This is really what... And this pen will be here forever because it is... This is a pen that... It's a writer. I mean, it just takes forever to run out the ink in this one. It has a fine nib, and the ink in it is a different blue-black. I've also done a lot of writing with this pen, but like I said, it takes forever to run through a full fill on this pen because it's just so, I don't want to say stingy with the ink, but doesn't like to run it out very quickly. You know, Visconti Homo Sapiens will be empty. I could get through 2 full fills on that before this would ever be empty. I'm sorry. Talking, not watching the screen. But anyway, there you go. I just wanted to mention, while I still have you on this camera, ODE addressed the question over Parker Quink Green. Apparently there are 2 different formulations out there. He has a full video about it, so I've linked to that in the video description. Oh, also before I leave, let's just look at some of that sheen here. Whoops, wrong one. Trying to navigate on the screen. And something else I don't like, I don't know how I did it, but I have one of my lights right in front of my screen on the camcorder. So I don't know if that picked up the sheen. I'm trying to look, but it's, you know, not easy. Well, I don't know why I've been struggling so much these past couple of weeks to get this show out on time. I actually had all kinds of time on Friday to do it, although I honestly did film a lot of videos on Friday, just none of them related to pens. So the 18 and under crowd is getting more of my video talent just lately than you guys are. But that is my job, so this is something I do for fun. So yeah, I am spending more time in front of the camera than I would like. I will be honest, they're not getting the quality of filmography that I do here, if this is quality. I'm doing a lot of it recording from a laptop. I do use, oh, where is it? Oh, it's in the kitchen because I was using it to film a lab. I am using that camera that I use to film live streams, to film some labs. That actually does pretty good quality, especially for that. Way back, not when I started the channel, but kind of when I was getting going, I had switched to using my Canon to film everything. And so I would film this part, usually standing actually over there, but then I would turn it with the tripod, have it look down, and then I would film the writing samples. And I had learned how to reverse the picture, so it was 180 degrees. I still do that with the writing sample. You can't see it, but over here the camcorder is upside down. I just discovered that, hey, I don't need to hug the tripod and write around it the way a lot of YouTubers complain that they do. And now, of course, I have a nice tripod with the arm that bends down, so I'm able to get a little more flexibility. But anyway, somewhere during that time, I bought this document camera, and I was using it at school. I bought it for school, actually. But then I would use it at home also, because I bought it with my money, so, it's mine. It was sort of a flimsy thing, and that traveling back and forth eventually got to be too much for it. But by then I had graduated to this set up downstairs where I was doing the green screen. So, yeah. But anyway, I bought that document camera to use for live streams so I could do videos of writing and of me, because I haven't done any live streams lately. Maybe that's something I need to do one of these weekends. I was reading on, was it Fountain Pen Geeks? They were talking about fountain pen reviewers, and of course, had to look. They talked about a couple of them don't like live streaming. A lot of them don't like video. So they're probably not watching this. So, but anyway, just I'm not going to replace my videos with live streaming, but it is something fun to throw into the mix every so often. And I like to show some pens when I live stream, so that's good. This camera lets me do both. And now that my Apple is back, which is probably the most exciting thing I have tonight, I can actually do some of that stuff, because using that school computer was getting just painful. And, I should be happy it filled in for me. But I'm probably going to be filming a lot more of even my students' videos on my personal computer now, just because it's easier to use, better. It's a newer computer, and honestly, it's a better computer. The school, it's a government entity. They're not going to buy teachers the best computers. It's a low-quality Acer with problems with the motherboard. So, but I was lucky to have it these last 2 weeks. My whole adventure was shipping. I can't remember if I told this story or not, and you may not care, but that's why I save these to the end of the videos, because if you're here for the pens, you got them, and you're only here now because listen to me talk. I called I called Apple. They sent a box out within 2 days. So I packaged it up, called up Federal Express, talked to the nice computer for a long time. It was very difficult to arrange for pickup. Ended up hanging up on it once, trying to do it through the website, and I couldn't figure that out. So I went back to the nice computer lady, and they finally put me in touch with an operator. So the phone rang and 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 rang, and then Federal Express hung up on me. And that was after being put on hold for a long time, because they were busy, as you can imagine. Federal Express is a bit overwhelmed at the moment. So then I thought, okay, this is stupid. I work at a school. Federal Express stops at school all the time. I'll just have them pick it up at school. So I put it amongst the packages at school to be picked up. Well, apparently Federal Express wasn't planning to pick up anything at the school that week, so I happened to see it when I went back down on Friday to film a video for a lab, and so I retrieved it and called Federal Express again, got through to them. This time when they put me to the operator, almost right away I got to operator, no being on hold or anything. Maybe by now I was an old pro at it, although I did have to go through the menu about 4 times, which was annoying. But anyway, that poor operator, I felt so bad for her because she was sick. I don't know if it was COVID-19 or if it was something else, but she was just coughing and coughing and coughing. And she just sounded exhausted. And so hopefully she's feeling better now. But anyway, by the time I got done with her, had to wait until Monday, which had been this week, to get the laptop. And when did it arrive? was it Thursday that it finally arrived, I want to say. But anyway, then I had to install all the backups. I have all my files backed up on Dropbox. My photography is now backed up because I use the Adobe Lightroom now. The only thing that's really not backed up in the cloud is the actual software on my machine. So I have a backup hard drive, and so it ran through all that, Apple's Time Machine, because that's what I use for backup. It ran through all that while I went down to school and did some work, because I had to film. What was I filming? It doesn't matter. Who cares? Anyway, some labs. I spent 3 hours one night filming a flipping chemistry lab, and setting it up and tearing it down. But, I guess I probably wouldn't have been filming it, but it was a reminder that, I would have spent a lot of time at school just to set the lab up, because it's 66 different chemical reactions between pairs of chemicals. And on Tuesday, they're going to do part 2 of the lab, where they have to figure out what the 8 unknowns are based on their records from the first 66 reactions. Yay! So they got some good review of balancing chemical equations with that, too. So anyway, I will be so happy when this is over. I really miss that when you can just look at them and know, oh, they got it, or, ooh, better explain that one again. I miss that. I miss seeing them. I do like being home, though. Every day is jeans day, and, I shave when I want. I don't like a beard. This is about as long as I can stand to let it get. But, I am kind of liking this being home thing. I'm going to get lazy here. So, got to start it's going to warm up now. I got to force myself to start walking. Since I'm not walking to work every day, I got to force myself just to go out and go for a walk. So, anyway, handling it, I think, well, being home. All of our staff meetings over a computer. My social interactions mostly seem to be through the screen, or occasionally just talking to the janitor when I go to the school. But I actually don't really want to go to the school when there's people there. So lately I've been, he's usually there early in the morning, which is my best time for working, ironically. But so I've been going, if I go to the school now, I've been going late in the evening because there's nobody there. I don't like this thing where I'm looking at people as potential plague carriers. That's uncomfortable for me. And, every time I bring something into my house thinking, is virus all over it or not? And, I don't like this world, and I will be happy when it's over with, as I think we all will. So, anyway, stay safe. Enjoy your pens, and, as somebody pointed out to me, well, we were talking about kids and how they're going to interpret this. This is going to impact those kids their whole lives. This is going to be something they'll remember. It's too early to say how it's going to affect them. I remember things like, where was I on 9/11? I remember exactly what went down when Challenger blew up. People older than me can remember where they were when Kennedy was shot. I remember where I was when the Berlin Wall fell down. Those kinds of things stick with us, and this is hard on kids because it's something they can't even see. And I just, people are worried about kids not getting graduate. Some of my seniors are worried about whether they'll get an actual graduation or not. But I just have wondered, how is it with the younger ones? I teach high schoolers who can understand the concept. They may not like it, but yeah. And I'm finding that there are some students who just need that structure of school. They're not handling it well, doing it at home on their own. So yeah, the sooner we can get back to normal, the better. But at the same time, the reason we're doing this is to save lives. The reason we're throwing our economy into turmoil is to save lives. And, lives, money, lives win out for me. So I guess I understand it. So I got real sad there at the end. But anyway, I hope this is interesting. Hope it was useful. I will endeavor to do better next week with the pen videos. Maybe I'll try filming them earlier in the week. Or maybe I'll spend tomorrow filming kids' videos. So I'm not living on the flipping computer all week. And then I'll be more encouraged to do this. Plus, tomorrow I am going to record 2 vintage videos. One is a do no harm type of video, and it just introductory. If you have a pen, what should you try first? And then some other kind of repair thing. I haven't really decided what, but I've got a number of pens. So tune in then. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.